Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Mannadium Yugioh deck profile for May 2023. With the release of Cyberstorm Access, we were given this new lore-adding deck to the Vysis Starfrost storyline, being the Mannadium deck. It's a Synchro and Fusion deck that uses some of the Scareclaw support along with Vysis Starfrost and the new Mannadium cards to just have a consistent Synchro play, along with some of the other new cards we got from the booster set, as you can see here with one of our main go-to synchros, Mannadium Prime Heart, for the deck. And definitely happy with the results. We'll definitely be getting some more support for Mannadiums in Dueling Nexus, which will just add to the power of the deck. But until then, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. You do want to run 3 copies of Mannadium Heart. This is one of the new monsters for Mannadium in the deck. During the main phase, if this card's in your hand, quick effect, you can target one Mannadium monster you control, or one monster you control with 1500 attack and 2100 defense. Destroy it. If you do, special summon this card. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Mannadium card from your deck to your hand, except for Mannadium Heart, and you can only use each effect of Mannadium Heart once per turn. So you have search options with this card just being in your hand to target a Mannadium monster, or just one other monster with 1500 attack and 2100 defense to then special summon this card. You have the play for the card to summon out quite easily with cards like Scareclaw Rykart in the deck having the exact attack and defense stats to use with this card, and then just being able to have an additional search for some of the more important cards in the deck for us to add to our hand using this card. I'm also running 3 copies of the tuner for the deck, which is Mannadium Fearless, with this card being our go-to setup for a tuner monster. If you control Vysis Starfrost or a monster with 1500 attack and 2100 defense, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Mannadium Fearless once per turn this way, and if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Mannadium Fearless from your deck, and also during the battle phase of this turn, synchro summon monsters you control, gain 500 attack. So it's an added boost for your synchro monsters on the field using this card as that play, but also just being able to have an easy special summon by controlling the good majority of other monsters that we are running in the deck on top of our Mannadium Fearless to have the setup for our synchro plays. So I have the additional card to use as a backup, and also for one of our other level 2 tuners being our Mannadium Meek. With this card, if you control a Vysis Starfrost or, once again, the 1500 attack, 2100 defense, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Mannadium Meek once per turn this way. And also, with this card, if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Mannadium Meek from your deck. Then you can increase its level by 2. So increasing the level by 2 can help to adjust with some of the higher level synchros that we run in the deck, since we have a level 2 tuner here, and then a level 4 main deck monster to use in tandem with this card. We are trying out 3 copies of Vysis Starfrost just as one of the more needed cards in the deck. If it's in your hand, you can target one monster you control with a different type and attribute than this card and destroy that monster. If you do, special summon this card. So you have the earth attribute or water attribute with our Mannadium monsters, and different type setup as well with this card. And you can only use this effect of Vysis Starfrost once per turn, and when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can make this card gain attack equal to half the original attack or defense of that monster, whichever is higher. So it's more another setup card, being a level 6 tuner. You can even just go for your synchro play into your Mannadium Prime Heart using your Vysis Starfrost and then your additional Mannadium Heart being the 2 monsters needed to go into your level 10 synchro play with these cards on the field. Now, once again, with the 1500 attack and 2100 defense setup, I'm also running 3 copies of Scareclaw Rykart. You can special summon this card from your hand to a main monster zone adjacent to a Scareclaw monster you control or its column, but also just being a monster name to use if it's normal or special summon to add a Scareclaw spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which we are also running for the additional search power that some of the Scareclaw spells can provide in the deck, since cards like Scareclaw Rival can also summon out Vysis Starfrost onto the field for us to use with some of our other plays. And then for the last of the actual engine in the deck, 1 copy of Elemental Hero Prisma. Now, the Prisma lineup definitely does work because we have a fusion monster in the extra deck with Visas Starfrost to name to then just be able to send Visas Starfrost to the graveyard and give us a monster on the field that becomes the name of that card for us to use for that fusion summon, and also, once again, just a faster way for us to get this card in the graveyard for us to use. With the last of the main deck monsters that I run in the deck just being 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. It's just a hand trap to use to stop any of our opponent's searches or setups they may try to do in the graveyard. Now, moving on now to the spells. They did get a field spell, like a good number of decks in the Visas Starfrost storyline. I want to run 3 copies of Peaceful Planet Calarium. When it's activated, you can add 1 Mannadium monster or 1 Visas Starfrost from your deck to your hand. Light monsters you control gain 100 attack for each tuner you control. And in your graveyard, if a face-up tuner you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one of those cards and special summon it. You can only use this effect of Peaceful Planet Calarium once per turn. You can only activate 1 Peaceful Planet Calarium per turn as well. So you have the effect of each, or the effect for the destruction, and then the activation also to gain the additional search. You have search power, and then just consistency to special summon any of your Mannadium resources back onto the field. We're also running 3 copies of Mannadium Abscission. With this card, we target 1 monster you control, destroy it. If you do, add 1 Peaceful Planet Calarium from your deck to your hand, or if you control Peaceful Planet Calarium, you can add 1 Mannadium Spell or Trap instead, except for Mannadium Obsession. You can banish this card from your graveyard to then special summon 1 Visas Starfrost, or 1 monster of 1500 attack and 2100 defense from your hand. So special summon consistency with this card, but also just giving you the added add of a Spell or Trap instead of your Peaceful Planet Calarium. So it's just an extender and another card you can use to thin out the deck as well. And also, we're running 3 copies of Mannadium Imaginings. With this card, you reveal 1 Mannadium monster, 1 Visas Starfrost in your hand, to draw 2 cards, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. Then you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 monster you control with 1500 attack and 2100 defense, and treat it as a tuner until the end of this turn. It doesn't happen as often with this card. It's mostly just used for the draw power, but if you need the added adjustment, it's always available as a resource in the graveyard for you to use. Now, for some of the Scareclaw spells that we also run in the deck, trying out the 3 Scareclaw Arrival. You target a Scareclaw monster or a Visas Starfrost in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. If a Scareclaw Link monster you control be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So it's a target for Rykart to special summon back onto the field to use as a level 4 non-tuner with some of our other plays, and just an easy special summon or protection for any of the Scareclaw monsters that we do run in the extra deck as an added backup for some of our synchro plays, being one of the better options to go ahead with as well. And then for some of the other spells, I also run 1 copy of Primitive Planet Resophobia, being able to add a Scareclaw monster or Visas Starfrost, once again, with our search power as just an additional field spell to use for searching out cards, and 1 copy of Scareclaw Straddle for the target power of a Scareclaw in the graveyard or Visas Starfrost, and then special summon it with that card, or having it gain additional attack, or when a card or effect is activated that targets a Scareclaw or Visas Starfrost, you can negate the effect. Being a quick play, it's good just as an added search with the setup, being able to set it on the field and then activate in response to your opponent trying to take away any of your other Scareclaw or Visas Starfrost on the field. We are running the Elemental Hero Prisma, so added search for that card is 3 copies of Hero Lives, just being able to pay half your life if you control no monsters, special summoning out our Elemental Hero Prisma onto the field, and then from there, once per turn, just being able to reveal the fusion monster, sending Visas Starfrost to the graveyard, and also having our Elemental Hero Prisma just take the card in name, being a light monster. It's just a 1-card combo setup if we have a card resource to at least special summon our Visas Starfrost back from the graveyard, or even just being able to have that card ready to go for any of our other summons. And lastly, for the spells, the 1 copy of Terraforming. We have plenty of different field spells in the deck, whether it be Primitive Planet or our Calarium to use. So whichever one you want to search out, you can have Terraforming to rely on to get that specific one to your hand. And then for the traps, just 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, just an additional hand trap to use on top of our Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I have one copy of Mannadium Prime Heart. If you wanted to run a second copy, you can always take out some of the other synchros for an additional copy of this card. It needs one tuner and one light monster. This card can attack a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of tuners used for its synchro summon. If this card was synchro summon, it also needs one or more tuners, so you can use multiples of the Mannadium monsters, being lower level monsters, along with these tuners and our Rhyme Heart, and also being able to increase the level of cards like Mannadium Meek to summon this card out. And if it's synchro summon using a Mannadium tuner as material, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. And if this face-up card is synchro summon, you can target in the owner's control, leaves the field because of an opponent's card. You can special summon one of your monsters with 1500 attack and 2100 defense, or your Visa Starfrost that is banished or in your graveyard. So you have the banish option with also our option for being able to have the play with our other monsters, and then just the additional setup, and also just protection for this card being a 3000 attack point monster and 3000 defense monster, making it more difficult for your opponent to get over as well. I also run the one Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon for the added play to get a light tuner and this card on the field to then synchro summon in our Mannadium Prime Heart. The one Chaos Angel is another powerhouse with the light tuners that we run in the deck, and then the added play for us to summon it out onto the field as just another boss monster, since it needs one tuner and one or more non-tuner light or dark monsters, which are Visa Starfrost fits the bill, being able to be that level 6 light tuner. And then the one copy of Vulcan the Divine. This could be a Stardust Charge Warrior if you wish as well. With this card, you can target a face-up card you control, so you can also just bounce back your field spell with Vulcan the Divine, and then also return the target of your opponent's card to their hand also. One copy of Borreload Savage Dragon, and the one copy of Cyframe Lauren Omega with one copy of Baron de Fleur. If you wanted to run a second Mannadium Prime Heart, you can take out the one copy of Omega for a second copy of this card. And then for the Link monsters, we're running one copy of Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy, one Nightmare Cerberus, one Lena the Light Charmer, one Nightmare Unicorn, and also one Scareclaw Lightheart for the Link play to then add our field spell to our hand, the Primitive Planet Resophobia, when it is Link Summon, just being an additional field spell searcher. And lastly, the Fusion, which is Vicious Astrolaud, needing a Visa Starfrost and one monster with 1500 attack and 2100 defense. And it must be special summoned by banishing the above cards you control from your field and or graveyard. So even if they're set up in your graveyard, you have the play ready to go for this Fusion summon. Cannot be destroyed by battle. And if it's special summon, you can target one other monster on the field and destroy it. And if you do, this card gains attack equal to half that monster, being a more malicious form, I would say, to Visa Starfrost's own card effect. With our Xyz monsters just being the one copy of Hope Harbinger and the one Zeus to overlay on top of it as well, being a spell negation. And with how easy we can get the level 8 synchros, it could be an added option to overlay together into this card if need be with our other monsters we run in the deck. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, like I said before, the Hero Lives definitely does help with our play setup, because then we can pay half our life, special summon out the Prisma, use Prisma to reveal the Vicious Astrolaud, and then send our Visas Starfrost to the graveyard. And then this card becomes the name of it, but it doesn't become a tuner as well. So then once it's in the graveyard, all you need is the additional special summon play. So if you activate cards like Scareclaw Rival, special summoning out your Visa Starfrost, you have the 2-card play to then summon out your Mannadium Prime Heart onto the field. Or if you have the Mannadium Rhyme Heart in your hand, with this card being an added option, if it's in your hand, you can target a Mannadium monster you control or one monster you control with 1500 attack and 21 defense, destroy it and special summon this card, and then you can add one Mannadium card from your deck to your hand. So then you could use this card and one other additional card you have on the field. If you go for the Reichardt Summon and Search, then you could just use the Reichardt when to add a Scareclaw Spell Trap when it's normal or special summon. So you'll get the Scareclaw Search for your Scareclaw Rival. Then you can use your Rhyme to destroy your Reichardt to special summon this card onto the field. And then the additional play of activating Scareclaw Rival to summon this card back out as well. And then all you need is the one additional tuner with your Mannadium one being the tuner to special summon, since you control a Visa Starfrost or a monster with 1500 attack and 2100 defense, which could be either one of these. And then using the added option for your light monsters, which you'll have to remember with the level play, with these cards set up on the field. So you can either then go for the level 6 synchro into your Vulcan the Divine, and then have the additional special summon depending on what it can be, or you can even raise the level of your Mannadium Meek by 2 for this card, and then being able to special summon from your deck, then increase its level by 2 after it's destroyed by battle, and then go for a level 8 synchro if you wish otherwise. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. It's a really interesting deck. We keep getting more and more of the, monsters for the Visas Starfrost story. And this one just adds to being able to utilize the synchro power, while we've had ones like Kashtira that focus on Xyz summoning, and then also the Tearlaments that focus on fusion summoning. But as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.